Time to sail. Good morning again to all. Good morning, Captain Plug, Stafford.
Yep. Morning, Dwight. How you doing, man?
Doing excellent. Happy to be here, and we're about to get the National Family Island Regatta, the 2025 version, underway.
Yes, sir. The 69th annual National Family Island Regatta. Personally, my 25th year here. I can't wait to get this regatta started. I am literally sitting on the edge of my seat. And even though I'm not competing this year, I got the butterflies in my stomach, man. I'm looking forward to a real good regatta here, despite the current weather conditions.
Well, I can tell you, the next best thing.
We got a good seat, that's for sure. And I got my binoculars ready.
Absolutely. We will be able to cover all the action from here. And we're going to have the E-Class race getting started shortly. Captain Plug, I believe, based on the registration sheet, we have north of 30 boats in E-Class, a huge E-Class fleet. Talk a little bit about the added interest in sailing over the last couple of years, particularly at the E-Class level.
Yeah, well, the sailing became the national sport of the Bahamas 2 years ago, 2023. And that seemed to spur on a little bit more of the construction in the E-Class, but the attractiveness is the affordability. These are 12-foot boats, so they're a lot less to build, own, and maintain than the bigger classes. They're 12 feet in length with a maximum 5-foot beam. The mast is to be no more than 20 feet long, or 18 foot 6 inches above the deck is what they measured out on the dock a couple days ago. The boom 12 feet long. They've got lead in the keel, 200 pounds, and they're allowed a total of 200 pounds movable lead down below. Very easy boat to sail. You're not allowed any prize. It's kind of really was designed originally for the beginners, the juniors, but they allow adults to sail them here in the National Family Island Regatta, which is cool. And yeah, 30-some entries. This is very encouraging to see the reaction to sailing becoming a national sport. We got a great fleet from Andros and New Providence in the E-Class.
Yeah. And I see now Long Island is starting to build a couple of boats. We even have, I think, a boat or two out of Eleuthera.
Yep.
One out of Abaco, for sure.
Yes, sir, we do.
And so, yeah, definitely interest building around the Bahamas. And I believe as the years go on, we're going to see even more of the other islands starting to put their own fleet together.
I think it's pretty safe to say that Abaco will E-Class pretty soon.
Yeah.
Looking at some of them, looking at my list of the E-Class entries, we got some notables, especially from the Exuma Sailing Club.
Yep.
They got Mako and Lady Kayla. You can't ever count them out.
Yep.
Sugarloaf, last year's National Family Island Regatta champion out of Eleuthera. And the Independence, she scored well in a few regattas. And who else have we got here? Oh, there's also Lady Anna Marie with young Colin Cartwright out of Long Island. He's been doing really well in the E-Class.
Yep. And I believe Stefan Knowles has an entry in the E-Class this year, I believe. Newly built boat that either his son or someone close to him is sailing.
I do remember seeing some video on the channel. I don't remember the name of the boat right now.
Yeah, we'll get that as the broadcasts go. I believe we have a couple of E-Class coming out of Black Point. Lil Patton, Lil Silent Patton, I think, two of the names. So quite a bit of new entries, boats that haven't sailed yet for them, first time sailing. And so we're going to see exactly how things play out. Wind speed slightly up, probably right around the max that these E-Class boats can handle, I believe.
I would say so. The wind direction makes the chop out here not quite as bad as it could be if it was in a different direction. I think we're northeasterly today about 16. So they are going to kind of be on the edge there. So it'll be up to the skippers to be real careful, keep the boat trimmed just right, and do the maneuvers around the marker in a safe manner. I think maybe Stefan's boat is Early Bird, Caden Knowles. That's a Long Island boat.
Yeah, Early Bird is the name.
Yep. Okay. Well,
just confirmed.
So we know it was built well by a good boat builder who knows his stuff.
Yep.
We'll see what she can do. I guess is our first regatta.
And yeah, and so we will see how things begin to play out. I believe we're going to get the start in a couple of minutes. They were saying they would be about 15 minutes behind schedule, and we're right up on that about now, so we expect that we should get the 1 minute gun going off in a bit. I can't see that far to count the mass for the boats that are out there, but we will get that pretty soon. I can drone shot coming
There we
in here
go.
now.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It looks like about 30, 31. I see 1 or 2 coming up to the line, maybe 31, possibly 32 currently getting ready to get it. That's a beautiful shot there of Elizabeth Harbor.
Absolutely.
Oh, you cannot beat this. So for those of you who are unable to make it to Georgetown this year or not here as yet, we're going to bring you the next best thing. Regatta broadcast in full coverage over the next 4 days of sailing. Hopefully we'll get it in. Last year we had to cancel the final day because the winds just got a bit too high. There were some guys, particularly in the bigger class, I know they wanted to sail.
They did.
But
Safety first.
Safety is first.
Safety first, yep. It's disappointing when Mother Nature doesn't cooperate, but
it is what it is.
we'll see how it goes, yep. So if you're new to Bahamian sloop sailing racing, first.
Safety is first.
Safety first, yep. It's cooperate, but
it is what it is.
Bahamian sloop sailing racing, boat on anchor at the start line and the sails. It's in Bahamian sloop sailing. And so that we got is that the 1 minute gun I just heard?
I believe that was the start gun.
So we got a 1 minute countdown going on here. That's where all the butterflies really start for the crews on the boat.
Oh, maybe there was that's a false start.
False start. Oh my gosh.
It was the 1 minute gun. Some boats started heaving and hoving.
Oh boy.
So now they're gonna have to reset the line.
Nerves.
And we have some guys haven't gotten the message yet. That was not the start.
All right, the race committee will get them. Oh my gosh.
I've never seen that before, Captain Plug. This is actually a first for me.
It's a first for me too. Yeah. You'd be nervous, but you know there's a 1 minute gun.
Yeah, that's kind of cute. Young guys are there, a little bit excited. Some of the E-class sloops today, it looks like they're carrying 3 crew members. Some carrying 2. The max, Captain Plug, 3.
Yeah, really you don't want to put in any more than 3 because you're just going to have too much weight, and there's only so much room for people on the boat, 12-footer.
Right.
But yeah, with this wind, I can appreciate having some extra weight on board.
Right.
Again, they don't allow a prize like the bigger classes have, so you got to just kind of hang your rear end out on the rail of the boat and
Don't
try to
fall
keep her
over.
upright. Don't fall over.
Yeah. All right. So I've never seen this before, so we're gonna have to see what happens.
I'll assume
reset.
they'll reset. Tell everybody to calm down.
Yeah, that's it. Nerves. Let me tell you, the guys that actually jumped were really, really heaving and hoving, trying to get that quick start out there.
A new rule initiated for this regatta is the 200-foot anchor rope.
Yes, I saw that.
So yeah, you're going to anchor, and some of the crews are using extra long anchor rope, which could be a bit of an advantage on the start. Start is critical. So it's a 200-foot limit now.
Now, is that across the board for all classes?
That's all classes.
18.6.
Right.
Above the deck. Now, my understanding, does it have to be 18.6 or 18.6 is the max? Have to be 18.6 or 18.6 is the max?
That's the maximum.
Okay, so you can be shorter.
You can be shorter if you want. There's really no advantage to that.
The criteria.
Yep, re-rig your sail track and everything.
Oh.
But it does level out the playing field. And again, especially for the juniors, you want it to be skipper versus skipper as opposed to a better boat design or a little bigger sail because you're bending the rules a bit.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree with that. All right, so it looks like the boats are getting ready to reset, and I believe we'll have a new 1 minute gun. Well, maybe they may discard the 1 minute and just go strictly to the start. We'll see. And it's going to be interesting to see once these boats get started, which boats get to the first marker first relative to the crew, whether a boat with 3 crew members versus one with 2 crew members.
Yep. Weight and balance is definitely going to come into play with these weather conditions. Unfortunately for tomorrow, it looks like it's going to be even windier. One day at a time.
Right, yeah.
Let's get this E-class going.
All
Sorry.
right, now I believe we have this official start
Here
once
we go.
again. So they're off.
Yeah, off.
And you can see some of the names.
Heave ho. Let's hoist and go.
Yep. Oh boy, I can see, looks like Lady Anne Marie. Those guys are pulling anchor, but the boat's not moving. Baby wave, sail going up. Lady
Yeah.
Kayla going up. They're still pulling rope, trying to get some forward momentum before that sail goes up. Waiting for the very last minute.
So far, a pretty clean start. I'm not seeing anything tangle up yet.
Nope. It looks pretty clean to me.
Rules dictate that the boats go off on starboard tack. Pretty clean.
Yeah.
See a few boats there at the top of the screen and they look to be out in clear air.
And there's Lady Kayla, Josh, and crew number 17 getting started. 110, I think that's the boat out of Eleuthera.
Yes, that's them. Sugarloaf.
Sugarloaf. And they did pretty well last year. Lady Anne Marie out of Long Island, a boat to watch. Along Christopher, I think is his name. Christo, yeah. Son of Colin from Sacrifice.
Yep.
And there you go.
All right.
It looks like a pretty clean start all around.
We got a couple of boats already switched over to port tack here,
Yep.
and they're tacking through the fleet. You have no rights when you're on port tack. You have to give way to the boats on starboard tack.
Yeah, so you just have to find some space and wiggle your way through.
If I've got the course correctly, it looks like it's going to be a short sprint to the windward marker, and then a nice downwind run here in front of the freight dock where we are here in the booth and where a lot of the spectators are. Then we have a gate down at the leeward marker. We'll get to that in a bit. Fleet spread out a bit.
Yep. And we'll again try to do a quick count of the sails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I believe we may be 30 on the number in this first race of the 2025 69th annual Family Island Regatta. We have the Ministry of Works Cup Race.
Brought to you by Hideaways.
Brought to you by Hideaways underway.
Well, everybody's trying to pick their line where they figure the wind is going to be most in their favor. Unable to read the number on that boat over there to the right, which appears to have a bit of a lead, but it's hard to tell from here. They're going to be sailing over towards Stocking Island. Sometimes you get fluky wind coming off the landmass there, so you got to pick the right line. Otherwise, you might be in air that's not quite the same velocity as the next person.
Yep. Absolutely.
Still not seeing the windward marker.
Yeah.
Oh no, we have a boat down.
One boat down. There's a committee boat right next to them,
Yep.
so they'll pick them up.
Yeah, that was another thing mentioned in the skippers meeting last night. They got more committee boats out there, and they also have a medical boat.
Great. Good stuff. Windward marker may be behind these freight boats.
Yeah, I think so.
So we're going to need to wait for our drone coverage to pick that up.
The fleet is well spread out.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got some distance.
Lighter air conditions, you might see a lot more boats packed together, but definitely some serious strategies going on here.
Yep.
Some of these boats have 2, some have 3 crew because of the wind. You see, we want curious to see how that works out. Still can't see the sail number on that lead boat there. Looks like they've tacked over. They're back over on stop. Still can't see the sail number on that lead. Over on starboard tack.
We'll get our drone up in a couple of minutes. With the sail number. So E-class sailing underway here in beautiful Elizabeth Harbor, Georgetown. Those of you who are still making your way here, you would have missed the start of the first E-class cup race. We have 3 additional cup races following later today. The Commodore Emeritus C-class,
Governor General's B-class. Yep.
And then the big one of all, Prime Minister's A-class. All scheduled for today.
It's going to be a great day of sailing.
Absolutely. And with the wind speeds up the way they are, Cap, most of these races will be over and done with within 45 minutes, I would think, eh?
Yeah, that sounds about right. They're going to be quick. Usually 2 laps.
Yeah.
Maybe there might be 3 on the bigger boats. It just depends on how the time goes.
Yeah, I believe we have on our screens now the lead boat. There's a committee boat kind of leading the way. We're going to be able to get zoomed in a bit to see what the sail number is. Pick it up, looks like a blue boat. Maybe one of the boats out of the Exuma Sailing Club.
Is that 24, Baintown Woman?
29.
29. That's Mako.
Mako.
Exuma skipper Emmett Knowles.
Oh, young brother.
23rd, best of the best. They were 5th. 24th, Sir Durbin Knowles Junior Championship. They were 2nd.
There you go.
So you got an experienced skipper there, one of the Exuma
yeah, as a matter of
sailors.
fact, at the best of the best, I think they had an incident and either sank or broke something, but was able to do so well in the final 2 races to still make it to the final. So good performance there from Emmett.
They're doing well.
Yeah, that Exuma Sailing Club really putting out some excellent sailors, led by the Commodore Dallas Knowles and his team there.
No doubt about that. The Exuma Sailing Club is a force to be reckoned with, and we're seeing that here with one of their boats. Got a pretty good lead over 2nd. See if we can identify who's in 2nd.
And it looks like they are only sailing with 2 crew members.
It looks like it, yep.
And handling that boat extremely well, keeping it upright.
Got a good heel going over.
And 2nd place boat, another boat sailing with only 2 crew members. And I believe we'll get a good name. Wow, excellent shot from the drone. Coming around the side. And Independence. And
Okay.
I believe that boat is sailing with seniors. Doesn't look like any juniors on that. So a junior leading the fleet and a senior currently in 2nd place. And there comes the rest of the fleet. And those 2 have put a considerable amount of distance between them and the rest of the fleet.
For sure. 3rd and 4th pretty close there. They still got a ways to go to the windward marker. Those 2 lead boats will be coming around pretty soon, heading downwind.
Still some work to be done for the rest of the fleet to catch up, but looks like Mako with a pretty decent lead on the rest of the fleet right now. I believe in our
There's the
shot.
top. Definitely the marker there, just
Yeah.
going off the screen.
Can't really tell. Looks
Or
like
a marker.
it looks like it's some type of something underwater, but
Yeah, maybe that floats there just to mark whatever that debris is. I think that must be the case because they're still going upwind.
but it looks like the other boats are going around a separate marker. Maybe these guys went around the wrong marker
Oh
that,
boy.
that may have been some type of mark there to warn mariners about some obstruction in the water, because the other boats are going around a separate mark.
They are. And it should be red or bright orange.
Yellow. We have
Yellow.
Looks like a little bit of a
There we go. Oh my gosh, they made a
collision.
navigational error.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got one boat around the marker there, and two more about to round.
Yeah.
Three more.
Mako going around. We have.
Oh, whoop, whoop! Don't hit the marker there.
I think they're actually head on to the marker right now. So definitely gonna
That's
lose
number
some.
44. He's not making the mark. Oh, that one, number 44.
Probably using
Oh,
the wrong
boy.
sail. Here comes one of the new boats, Little Partner, out of Black Point.
So they're leaving the marker to the port side of the boat here. So the boat coming in from the right to left does not have any rights, but they're well clear of the marker and the red boat coming around. Number 50, that's the Independence who.
And then I think Ms. Agnes, I believe, going around number 22.
22 is Miss Agnes out of Exuma.
Number 17, Man o' War.
Will Perotti.
And here comes the boat that was initially in second place, who I believe went to the wrong mark.
Independence.
Well, no, not Independence.
Oh, sorry.
It's one of the other boats. It's Blue Marlin.
Hard on starboard tack.
Yeah. Clean sailing all around.
So far, good clean sailing.
Yep.
I'm unfortunate we got that one boat down there in the middle of the course, but they'll be all right.
All right, so the boats are currently out of view from our viewing point here, but we're going to see them come into view in short order as they make their way down to this gate. And again, Cap, we can explain the purpose of the gate and how it's used for these boats.
Well, with the thing with the gate is, in a traditional setting, you would just have one marker, and the racewood committee tell you to leave the marker either to the port or the starboard side of your boat. Well, with the gate, it gives you the option to turn one way or the other. You don't necessarily have to turn with the marker to port or with the marker to starboard. You can. So sometimes, let's say if you're in second or third place, and the first two boats, they go around to the right side.
Yeah.
And you feel, hey, if I go to the left side, I might get some wind and get a good lift, and I could catch them up. So it gives you an option to go in a different direction, and it can be to your advantage. It just adds more strategy to the whole race.
Absolutely.
Be interesting to see how the guys utilize it today. Guys and gals, because we do have at least two females out there that I know of.
All right, we're getting a quick update, Captain Plug, that we believe the lead boat is currently Lady Kayla. And we all know Lady Kayla is sailed by a very experienced junior sailor, Josh Knowles.
Yep.
And we saw them at the start. I believe Josh was one of the very last to go up with his sail. And if he is now leading, as we can see on our screens, he's taking the lead from his younger brother. And I believe 39 now in second place.
Early Bird.
And that would be Early Bird out of Long
Long
Island.
Yep.
And that would be the new boat owned by Stephen Knowles. Sailed by Caden Knowles. And so that, boy, I'll tell you.
Well, here they come back into our view.
They're coming in our view, and they're making their way towards the gate. And so Josh Knowles doing what he's been doing in a dominant fashion, almost in the same way that Stephen, through Witty K and now Sassy Sue, in C-Class has been pretty much the dominant force in C-Class sailing for the last couple of years. Josh now proving himself at the E-Class level, sailing the Lady Kayla for the last couple of regattas.
He's certainly worked his way up through the ranks from the
Yes.
Opties to the Sunfish and now into the E-Class.
Yeah, and also holding on the tiller in B-Class.
Yep, with the Tarian.
With the Tarian. And C-Class, I believe he's also on Termite.
Termites, right, number 33. All right, so the fleet's coming back into our view here. Got them on the screen there.
Pretty competitive still at this
It's,
point.
yeah.
No breakaways. I mean,
No.
Lady Kayla's got a good lead, but nothing that's out of reach at the moment.
All it takes is for you to lose that main sheet out of your hand. The wrong moment, you lose 2-3 seconds, and next thing you know, that boat's right on you.
Right on you is correct.
So the idea is to sail as hard as you can, no matter where you are in the fleet. You sail as hard as you can, because if something happens to a boat in front of you, you want to be in position.
Absolutely. So first, second, third, with decent space between them.
Pretty even spacing, yeah.
Fourth and fifth. Well, fifth boat now struggling.
Uh-oh.
Losing a little bit of control. Wind, maybe the sail got away.
That's all it takes. See how there's other two boats there right behind them caught up?
I believe that's the boat out of Eleuthero, or maybe the boat out of Nassau that was losing control there for a minute. Good shot there from Lady Kayla. And we were talking about sailing with 3 crew members versus 2. Lady Kayla sailing with 3, so carrying some extra weight, which may be to her advantage slightly in this. And as you can see in the distance, the aforementioned gate that they'll be sailing to, and we'll see exactly which side Joss decides to pull around, whether to port or starboard. They make their way back for the second lap. Number 39 now coming into view. Early Bird.
Looks like they got 2 crew.
And they're sailing with 2 crews, correct?
I noticed on the Lady Kayla, that third person was sitting up bow and had one of his arms on the boom there, trying to keep the sail down. The wind, when you're going downwind like this, it wants to lift the boom up, and you spill wind out of the sail, so you want to keep the boom flat.
Yeah, correction on Early Bird, also sailing with 3 crew members.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yep, they got a little...
I need to clean my glasses.
Little guy down in the hole. Barely see him.
You want to keep your weight low as possible when you're going downwind to help reduce that rocking back and forth, which just slows you down because it spills the air out of the sail. Number 29 there. Mako. She in third?
Yeah, I believe Mako
I think
in
so.
third.
Emmett Knowles. Folks, look at that beautiful blue exuma water here. They don't call it exuma blue for nothing. And nothing like cresting over that hill coming from the airport, and that's the first thing you see is that exuma blue water. And we get to sail on it here in Elizabeth Harbor, Georgetown, Exuma.
Absolutely.
All right. Lead boat's getting pretty close to leeward marker here. Race committee's getting into position. Hopefully there won't be any infractions, but it's good to have them watching. Penalty if you hit the marker, and a penalty if you hit another boat, if it's your fault. You do not want any penalties in this racing. It's a low point system. The more points they add onto your score, the worse you're going to do. First place gets 1 point.
Happy to see we have quite a few people watching the live stream.
That's great. Welcome to the broadcast, folks, whether you're in the Bahamas or abroad. We're glad to have you on.
Feel free to drop us a message, comment, and we will respond in kind. And there comes the fleet to the gate. Lady Kayla now starting to stretch out the lead just a little bit more.
So to avoid a jibe here at the leeward marker, you're going to have to leave that gate on the right there to your starboard side. You can harden up and go back up to the upwind.
Yep.
If you want to go around the one on the left, you're going to need to jibe your sail, which is going to be tricky in these winds.
Right. All right, so there comes Lady Kayla.
They're not going to jibe. They're going to harden up and go around to starboard. I think that's a smart move with today's conditions. They're in clean air. Well, the top 3-4 boats pretty much got their own clean air. It's really going to be interesting to see if anybody goes off on the other side.
Lady Kayla right now with an estimated 30-second lead on second place. Early Bird sailing from the Long Island Sailing Club. And it looks like Early Bird also going around, leaving the gate starboard. And even another one, number 22, I believe that's Miss Agnes, also going around on that port.
Yep. Will Perotti out of Exuma.
And then we have a nifty little fight now, 3-4 boats, all trying to make their way.
But right in the middle of the screen, they've lifted and they've gone. They're trying to get above those two boats below them there on the left. That was a very cool maneuver there.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they can keep their boat trimmed, they might gain a couple positions here going upwind.
We have another fight coming, two boats coming to the mark.
Now the boat on the right has to give way to a certain extent to the boat on the inside. It's called buoy room. You can't crowd them. You got to keep clear.
There's Baby Wave going around, and then number 31, I believe.
It's important when you can clear that mark that you harden up and get right on it. Otherwise, you just drift downwind and you're going to lose
some distance.
Lose some distance for sure.
All right, so we have about, I believe, 3/4 of the fleet already through the gate. The final 10 boats making their way down. And so a nifty little race going on. All except one still in the race.
We didn't receive word from the race committee. We're going to assume it's 2 laps, which is the normal.
Yep.
So we're
boats will go back up to windward, make their way back down to the gate for a finish, which should happen in about 15 minutes, I believe, and this race will be over.
I see in number 12, Lady Anna Marie, looking in the top group here.
Okay.
She's followed by number 24, Baintown Woman. Or was that 29? I think that may be 29.
29, Mako.
Yeah, that's Mako. Sorry, folks. Even these boats are 12 feet long, folks, which is not very big. They're handling these seas out here in Elizabeth Harbor pretty nicely. I'm looking at them through the binoculars here. A lot of them have bilge pumps. Some of them just use a bucket to keep the water out, but it's not looking so bad. It's just the velocity of the wind as opposed to the sea that's going to be the hindrance.
And there's your world-famous Stefan Knowles sailing on Early Bird, giving instructions. Giving instructions, and that's how you do it. That's how you train the younger ones. You get an experienced skipper like Stefan on board.
You can't ask for anything better than that.
Showing these guys how to handle it. Stefan in his traditional red sailing cap.
So once again, folks, the fleet has spread out a bit. Most of them are clear of the leeward marker now. We had probably about a third of the fleet took the starboard rounding. I'm sorry, the port rounding, and the other 2/3 took the starboard rounding. So we're kind of spread out a bit again. See how the strategies pay off.
Yep.
As I mentioned a few minutes ago, sometimes you sail over here close to the freight dock. You get a lift. The wind changes a little bit of direction. Helps get you a little closer on the line to the windward marker. So there's I see a race committee boat next to that unfortunate boat that sank. So the other boats know to keep clear of that area.
Yeah. We still didn't get any word on which boat that is.
No, we didn't.
was or is, but we'll find out, I'm sure, at some point and bring it to you. But we couldn't have asked for a better start to this National Family Island Regatta 25th 2025 version.
This is fantastic, man. It's my first regatta being on shore, so it's a little different perspective from me, but I got a nice view.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a great friend here helping me, the two of us calling the races.
Yeah.
And let's go, boys and girls.
Yeah, I tell you, I, for years, followed these races in my boat up close, and that is kind of where I developed this love for sailing. Can't do that now. This is the next best thing. Watching it, actually, you try now finding out that you actually get to see even more of it by watching it from the lens of the cameras and the drones.
It's definitely a different perspective. I haven't been able to sail in a few years because I've had both my knees replaced, and I don't want to get in an accident and ruin the rest of my life. So I'm here ashore calling the races with Dwight and trying to share my knowledge and love and passion of the sport, our national sport, with the fans.
And doing an excellent job with it. You know, Stafford, we shared some time together, the best of the best, during the C-Class broadcast in Nassau. And, you know, I'm very impressed with your knowledge, your skill, and certainly you've got the voice for broadcasting.
I appreciate that, man.
This spot I've shared with Reg Smith, another eminent broadcaster and sailor with lots of knowledge over the last couple of years. Reg's not able to make it this year, but you are a much suitable replacement for him, and I hope that we will have some more time together in the years to come.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Doing these broadcasts. You know, I've spent the last couple of months hanging out in the cold weather of Toronto. It's being here in the Bahamas, here in Exuma, in these conditions is a wonderful change for me.
So I'm sure it's a little warmer than up in Canada there.
Yeah. All right, so I believe we have the last boat now just coming around, taking a port turn at the gate. So the entire fleet minus the one mishap, all now making their way back up. And, you know, interesting again, can't really tell which boats were on which side of the start line to determine whether there was any advantage as to where you started to where you are now on the fleet. But interesting, maybe we'll be able to check back at some point and see whether there was an advantage to be either on the left side or the right side of the course when you started.
Well, in theory, there's supposed to be no advantage to being in the end or in the middle. There's not supposed to be any advantage, but it's inevitable. You get a little wind shift. No matter how hard the race committee tries to get the markers correctly positioned, you get a little wind shift or something like that. And so an experienced skipper with a good eye, you know, hey, let's look over on this side here and start there. So it definitely can be an advantage.
Yeah. And in E and C, as opposed to the B and A where they actually pick for positions, it's first come, first serve for your position on the line.
That's correct, yep. So the early bird gets the worm. If there is an advantage to being to one end or the other or in the middle. Yeah. You know, with the others, as you mentioned, with the A and the B class, we pick numbers and you have starting positions. We'll get into that a little later on today.
Yeah.
So if you're here in Great Exuma, we encourage you to come on down to the regatta site. We got food and beverage, and I'm sure there'll be some great entertainment later on. Come by the booth and say hello between races. I'll sign you an autograph for you if you'd like. In the meantime, we still got these boats working their way upwind. The second leg of this E-class race. Still a fair bit of distance between the top five, but some went on port, some went on starboard, and we're going to see how that works out when they get to the windward marker.
All right, there's a good shot of Lady Kayla now, the boat that went around in first place, and I believe she's still holding on to her lead.
I think so, yep.
Early bird creeping up. Stefan giving the directions and instructions to Caden, who's holding on to the tiller, and we'll see how that works out as they make their way to the final spin around the windward